Hi everybody, Stefan Molyneux from Freedomain Radio. Yes, it's time to circle back to the Michael Brown killing. New information has emerged that really changes the entire narrative and will result in any reasonably minded people apologizing for all of the earlier race baiting that has occurred in this tragic situation. So, before we get to the actual evidence, which is being presented to the grand jury as we speak, we're going to look at last Saturday night. Last Saturday night, Michael Brown's grandmother and his cousin were selling Michael Brown merchandise in a parking lot out back of some store. According to police reports, Michael Brown's mother pulled up in a car with some people, and Michael Brown's mother screamed at her relatives, "You can't sell this shit!" And one of the relatives yelled back, demanded to know whether she had a patent on Michael Brown. And things escalated quickly, and an unidentified companion of Michael Brown's mother began assaulting Michael Brown's cousin with what is reported to be a metal pipe or pole, beating his face in. A 911 call was placed, and medics took this poor young man to Christian Northeast Hospital. And then the friend of Michael Brown's mom, who had beaten Michael Brown's cousin with a metal pipe, grabbed the merchandise and a cash box believing to have contained about $1,400. So, I tell you what this does for me. What it does for me is it opens up a little window into the hellscape of Michael Brown's childhood. So, his mom drives up in a car with people who are willing to beat in the face with a metal pipe Michael Brown's cousin over petty cash and some t-shirts. I was raised to believe that a person is known by the company that he or she keeps. This is low company. This is violent thug company. This is the environment that Michael Brown grew up in. That, to me, is the fundamental tragedy of all of this. The degree to which this altercation over t-shirts erupts into face metal pipe beating violence so quickly. And then, after saying that all the Ferguson cops are racists who kill blacks, what do? They call the cops. I think that puts a little bit of a ding in the narrative. So, let's look at some of the facts that are now emerging in the grand jury testimony. First and foremost, 7 or 8 amazingly brave and courageous African Americans have stepped forward and are providing testimony that is consistent with Officer Wilson's account. But none of them have spoken publicly for fear of their safety, right? And that kind of hood.
Snitches get stitches, snitches get stitches, snitches get stitches. Now the YouTuber just like making videos, and we're going to go back into old Stefan Molyneux. Now that clip I showed you there was from a video called "What Pisses Me Off About the Michael Brown Case," published on October 24th. I wanted to do a reply to this earlier, but you know, maybe I got caught up with some more flim-flam. But let's go into it. First of all, everything Stefan said in that video, everything he said was null and void. It was virtually pointless to make that video. But you know, he's somebody, I guess. You know, it's funny listening to outsiders examine, you know, the so-called black community. And, you know what I'm saying, the information that he was speaking upon, this sort of family tussle, you know, where the grandmother was selling t-shirts and the mother pulled up with some acquaintances, and, you know, I guess there was some sort of altercation ensued. Now, I'm not saying that Michael Brown comes from a perfect family. I'm like, who does? But, you know, for Stefan Molyneux to sit up there and use this as a crutch, to use this to say, like, hey, this is the sort of hellscape. This is the sort of upbringing, you know, the thug. Because, you know, with black people, they love to use that word thug loosely. And we do it too, you know, especially the rappers. Thug this, thug that. You know, you can't have with a black people, you just can't have a dysfunctional family. And I'm not calling the Brown family dysfunctional. But, you know, they'll be like, oh, it's a thug family. It's like if a man beats his, black man beats on his wife. You know, they won't just call him a mere woman beater. They'll call him a thug too, on top of that. But, you know what I'm saying, his analysis is completely all wrong. And the thing is, he talks about metal pipes, you know, pipes to face, and this and that. And I'm saying, what sort of thug walks around with metal pipes? Now, I'm not saying that this did not happen, that the dude did have some sort of melee object to use as a weapon. But seriously, if these were this real thug family, as you know, Stefan Molyneux tried to explain, you know, they'll just carry guns and handle their business. I'm like, what the hell is this? Is this Michael Jackson's Beat It video, where gang members walk around with metal pipes and bats and wooden planks? You know what I'm saying? Spiked armbands and shit like that. No, I know. It's just, you know, with black people, if we do something bad, you know, rambunctious, you know what I'm saying, then they're quick to label us thugs. Now, I can imagine if I got into something and people wanted to go into my own father's history and be like, oh, you know, this guy's dad pulled out a gun on a nightclub owner or whatever. Okay, this gives us the hellscape that we have here. That this explains it. You see what I mean? You know, they'll just disregard the information that my dad was in the military his whole life. You know, trained to be a soldier. He loves guns. They won't put that. They won't factor that in the equation. Oh, guns, weapons, thugs. You know, they don't understand that just because two people get into a fight, or if there's some sort of altercations, don't mean that Michael Brown's upbringing was a complete living hell of so forth. I do think it's wrong if his family, if this is true. Now, I went to multiple sources and they have, you know what I'm saying, they got, I guess, writings on this, news articles on it. Sometimes I get to a loss of words. But other than that, it's kind of pointless. It doesn't really help the overall case. It's just more of Michael Brown's character assassination. Like, okay, he has to be guilty of this because this is where he comes from. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people that witness family fights, family brawls, you know, and so forth. Now, when we're going into I'm going to show you how dishonest Stefan Molyneux is and type of character is. There's a guy by the name of Thunderfoot who completely demolished Stefan Molyneux, pointed out how he was a complete fraud and a liar. Now, this video clip I'm going to show you does not pertain to the Michael Brown case, but it does show you some insight on who the hell this Stefan Molyneux guy is. Roll the clip.
Dear Stefan Molyneux fans, I want to make this perfectly clear. Calling a liar is not character assassination. It's not an ad hominem attack. It's a conclusion drawn from the facts. So, for instance, when Stefan's wife, one Christina Papadopoulos, advocated family shunning on Stefan Molyneux's Free Domain radio show, she got reprimanded for professional misconduct. Quite right too, if she, like Stefan, was advocating that children should disown their parents because Stefan had convinced them that they had committed a thought crime, or that they should shun their families because they wouldn't subscribe to Stefan's very narrow ideas on anarcho-capitalism.
And that those in your life, not in the news, those in your life, who advocate and praise you getting shot, what are you going to do with those people?
This practice of defooing, this is, I mean, it's pretty widely criticized, right? I mean, your wife got in trouble for this, for advocating this on your show, right?
No.
She didn't?
No.
Didn't she get suspended? Didn't she have?
No, none of that is true.
So that's just lies. It's online.
Yeah, none of it is true.
Let me just say that again. The College of Psychologists of Ontario deemed Christina Papadopoulos' behaviour to be seen by members as disgraceful, dishonourable or unprofessional. Stefan Molyneux fans, I want you to note that this is no vanilla white lie. It's a bold-faced lie that cuts to the very core of how dishonest Stefan is willing to be to defend these cult-like shunning behaviours. And not one of you Molyneux fans sat there and thought, wow, he is really smooth and practiced at lying to people like this.
Right, I mean,
calling Molyneux a liar is not character assassination. It's not an ad hominem attack. It's a conclusion. And yeah, it doesn't show that all of his arguments are wrong. Not that it's much more difficult to show that his arguments are bullshit than it is to show that he's dishonest. But then again, what would be the point of me doing that if you cannot accept when it's shown to you in black and white terms right in front of your face just how dishonest Stefan is willing to be, and you still reject it? For me, though, it's important to establish the sort of person you're dealing with. This is why it was important.
Now, as you see there, Stefan Molyneux is very insidious. He has very crazy ideas. He's been caught before lying, and yes, this to me is very damaging. You know what I'm saying, to his reputation. So I can't take anything serious about what Stefan Molyneux says. When he says something about kids should shun their parents for paying taxes, or kids should shun their parents for not letting them listening to Stefan Molyneux, people getting shot, but he himself owes taxes. And then he says he abides by, he claims to be this rebel against the government, but then he says he abides by the law. You know what I'm saying? The dude's a complete farce. You know, he's an opportunist. You know, you can't take this guy seriously. He's just some dude. He's some sort of self-proclaimed, philosopher of some sort. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he has any sort of real academic training in this field. He's just someone that wants to talk. One of them nuts conspiracy theorists like Alex Jones and Mark Dice. Well, they can, come up with all their wacky theories all they want to, but then when they go into observing the black culture, you know what I'm saying, or the streets or whatever, like you said, in that hood, snitches get stitches. But Ferguson doesn't have a murder rate like that. And it's also funny when he talks about the family, how they went and called the police. But then now this helps the family out. Now, if they were real thugs, they would carry guns, they wouldn't call the police, they'll handle their business. But the fact that they called the police, meaning they ultimately wanted to hash things out in a civil manner, or at least some members of the family or some members of the entourage did. So it completely almost crushes his ideologies on this whole thug thing, or these people thugs. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's completely ridiculous. But it shows you how type, these guys are when they want to observe the government. We shouldn't pay taxes and blah, 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 blah. And just to see them, observe the black community just like any stiff-necked white person would. Always look at the worst case scenarios, you know what I'm saying? Make their assumptions. Try to talk slang like when he said when he was talking about Mike Brown's mother, she ain't gonna take no shit from it. As if he's saying shit as to mock the way we talk, as if we're the only group of people that use vulgarity. Like, he won't say the word shit, but when we say cuss word, just like it's amplified, like, oh, cuss word, you know what I mean? These people are so uncouth. But I wanted to kind of keep this video short. But I'm just telling you all the ridiculous rhetoric that's still going on out there, that this guy is still trying to character assassinate a dead person, how sick this guy is. And he kind of looks like a lizard. When I watch him, I keep expecting some sort of forked tongue to come out like that. He reminds me of Dennis Hopper's character as King Koopa in Super Mario Brothers, if you get my drift. But I want you to check out the Thunderfoot video. Subscribe, Thunderfoot's a cool person. You know, he got some pretty good content. He made a 40-minute video destroying Stefan Molyneux and another 5-minute video. Tim, the bartender from Tim's Takes Live, also did a video on Stefan Molyneux, crushing him. I'm like, Stefan Molyneux is taking blows from either which direction. Me personally, I felt his credibility is completely shattered. Now, this dude should not even be making YouTube videos as much as he's been exposed. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he has no, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? He has no credibility to even talk. And Stefan is a Molyneux is an opportunist, because when the whole Mike Brown situation broke out, he did like a big, long 40-minute video showing pictures of Mike Brown flicking off with doing like this or gang signs or whatever, and going into his SoundCloud and say he had some gangster rap songs or shit like this. So yeah, this dude is an opportunist. He's devious, and you know, ultimately, he's a piece of shit. So you know what I'm saying? Get him out of here!